Welcome to League Landry. In this league, the one constant is change. So let's get right into the changes for the 2025 season. But first, we need to induct our most recent champion into the League Landry Virtual Hall of Fame, our 2024 champion, Doogie. Now, on to the changes. As a family and as a country, we've been divided too long. This is a call for unity. No more divisions, at least for this year. In an odd twist, while we'll have no divisions, we will have two winners this year, a regular season winner and a playoff winner. The biggest change is how playoffs will work. This year, everyone makes the playoffs, and anyone can win the league, even on the last day. We're also adding a kicker position, and I'd like to expand the league up to 16 teams, so please invite others to join. Everything else is unchanged. Need a rules refresher? Here it is. Pause the video should you require an in-depth perusal. In the past, playoff brackets comprised only the top regular season teams in a championship bracket. Only those teams' matchups counted for anything, as only those teams had an actual chance to win the league. Not anymore. There's a different playoff system this year, one that gives all teams a real chance to win the league, even on the last day of the playoffs. Let's jump into it. The thing I'm most excited about this year are the changes I'm proposing to the playoffs. I consider this the pinnacle of my career as a fantasy football commissioner. Hold on to your seats. The basics are in the bullet points, but I think the best way to explain it is to see how it would have worked out with last year's results. Here were the regular season standings after the first 15 weeks of play last year. The first change is that the top two regular season finishers will earn payouts. More on that later. For the playoffs, we won't just put a handful of teams in a bracket and let only them fight it out for the championship. Not this year. After week 15 this year, we will assign bonus points in descending amounts based on the regular season standings, with the top team getting 50 bonus points and the bottom team 0. Then, all teams will play weeks 16 and 17. For those 2 weeks, it will not matter how you do against your opponents. The only thing that matters is how many points are scored. At the end, we'll total the bonus points plus the scores from weeks 16 and 17 to determine the top 4 finishers and the payouts. And this is how we would have finished up last year. I think this format will make the playoffs more competitive, as all teams have a chance to win all the way through the end of the season. And if you remember last year, the top 3 teams all lost their first round match, so unfortunately they were knocked out early. This year, one mediocre performance in the playoffs won't get you eliminated. I appreciate you giving this a chance, and if the fantasy football community ever catches wind of this, I think it will spread like wildfire. Just remember, you saw it here first. Pause the video if you need more time to review. Here's the payout breakdown. We'll award the top 2 regular season teams and the top 4 playoff teams as shown. The winnings are additive, so if someone wins the regular season and also wins the playoffs, they'd end up with 50% of the total pot. Roster composition. To make more waiver wire players fantasy relevant and to add a bit more strategy, we're changing the roster composition to require only 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, and 1 tight end. There will be 3 flex positions. Your top scorers could be 4 running backs, or 4 wide receivers, or even 4 tight ends. Note that we're adding a kicker position and decreasing the bench size. If Sleeper offers an IR spot in best ball leagues this year, we'll add one. Kickers. Yes, we are adding a kicker position. Rostering a kicker will make more fantasy relevant players available on the waiver wire, and it will add in a bit of randomness, excitement, and strategy. Here are the settings. Field goals of 30 or fewer yards earn 3 points. Longer field goals earn more points. The downside, points will be deducted from missed PATs and field goals. The shorter the miss, the more points will be deducted. My advice, draft a good kicker. Pause the video to review the settings. The changes that were made to our scoring system last year really benefited offensive players. This year, to balance that out, we'll increase defensive scoring by adding 1 point for every 20 sack yards. So the longer the sack, the greater the points. Finally, recall that we award points for kick returns. This year, the NFL moved the touchback spot from the 30 to the 35-yard line. Expect more kick returns and more kick return points. The first regular season game is September 4th. Let's plan to draft on the Saturday or the Sunday before. I'll be in touch with specifics. We've covered all the important info. If that's all you wanted, stop now. Be warned, if you watch any further, you might actually learn something. Following are 3 simple tips that I think will help you become a better fantasy football player. Which players should you draft? In our scoring model last year, of the 6 flex players that scored more than 300 points, 5 were running backs, as were 10 of the top 17 scoring flex players. But keep in mind, last year was a really good year for running backs. Do you rely on expert rankings on draft day? If so, I suggest using PPR rankings with a slight lean toward tight ends. those of you who think all you have to do is draft a good team and let it ride, here's your sign. Teams that finished in the top half of the standings averaged about 30 waiver wire moves during the season. Those in the bottom half, only 6. Pro tip: if you want to finish near the top of the standings, stay active throughout the season. My final tip goes hand in hand with tip number 2. Get help from experts throughout the season. Here's a list of websites with tools and articles to improve your fantasy football acumen. Some are free, some are paid. These people get paid to do this, and on average, they are much better at picking players than any of us. I know we're all busy with important stuff like TikTok challenges and cat videos, but please consider taking just 10 minutes every Tuesday to research 1 or 2 players to add to your team and put bids in for them. You will find it well worth your while, and I promise you will enjoy your fantasy football experience more. Pause the video and write some of these down. Thank you for listening. Let me know if you have any questions, concerns, or suggestions. Let's make this year the best fantasy football season ever.